In this video, I'm reviewing Dave Chisholm's Miles Davis and the Search for the Sound. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and today I wanted to review something really special. This is Miles Davis and the Search for the Sound. Now, this is a biographical graphic novel. It's a graphic novel biography of Miles Davis. It reads a lot more like a memoir than a biography for reasons we'll talk about in a little bit. But it is written, drawn, colored, lettered, everything by Dave Chisholm. And it's published by Z2 Comics in partnership with the Miles Davis estate. Now, if you are a fan of Miles Davis, if you are a fan of jazz music, if you're a fan of music, musicians stories, period, this book should be at the top of your Christmas list this year. So we're going to talk about all the reasons why. I got to give a huge thanks to Dave for sending this review copy over to me. Man, I blew through this in an afternoon, yesterday afternoon as I'm filming this. And I got to tell you, man, I loved this book. So like I said, it's a graphic novel about the life of Miles Davis. But what's unique about it is the fact that it feels deeply personal because it's narrated in the voice of Miles Davis, and the words used are actually adapted straight from interviews and essays and things that Miles Davis himself wrote and took part of. So it feels deeply personal. It feels like it's Miles telling his story and illustrating it in a lot of ways. So Miles Davis and the Search for the Sound actually opens up with a sort of flash forward into the later years of Miles Davis. There was a period where he had suffered a stroke and lost usage of his right hand, which of course is a hand that you need to play trumpet with. And so as part of his recovery, his doctor recommended that he, try illustrating, just try practicing holding a pencil and drawing pictures and stuff. And so we get this glimpse already opens up in a very vulnerable space for Miles Davis. And then he starts telling his story from the beginning, where he first got inspired to make music, just the ways that he got inspired to make music, how his home life was, him picking the trumpet over the violin. And we slowly get this picture built of who Miles was and how important music was to him. It seems his whole life was sort of in service to the sound, or in pursuit of the sound, this sound where he's always chasing something new, something beautiful, something inspirational. And what I love about this book, outside of the fact that it's just masterfully done all the way around, it's gotta be the illustration by Dave Chisholm. Man, it's hard to put into words what this book looks like. I'm going to show you some of me thumbing through the pages. I'll even show some digital images so you can see just the quality of the illustration. But I think the best thing best compliment I can give it is that it sort of captures what it's like to listen to music or to be inspired by music beautifully. There are scenes where Miles is kind of going through life, and the coloring really helps with this as well. But Miles is kind of going through life and it's kind of mundane and stuff like that. But something will catch his ear and he'll kind of look up and you'll see this sort of, it's almost like the scent following a cartoon character, or a cartoon character following the scent. Miles is like that with the sound. And what I love is how as you follow the journey of Miles Davis's career, you see all the different musicians that he worked with and what he thought of them and why he chose them to back him up at certain points. And it's really interesting if you're into jazz, you're going to see names that Bird and Parker and John Coltrane and Thelonious Monk and all these different people that you know and love from your favorite jazz library. But also people that maybe you didn't know that Miles Davis had worked with or was influenced by, like Jimi Hendrix. And it's just really cool to see every time he finds a new sound and a new piece of inspiration, maybe an unlikely place. You just see his ears perk up, his eyes open. He's like, yo, what is happening? And you feel it, even if you've not heard the music that's being referenced. And I think that is just straight up awesome. So Miles Davis and the Search for the Sound is beautiful, at times heartbreaking. And again, I really want to comment on the colors of this book, like the moods that are set. We see some pretty dark times in Miles Davis's life. We see a rough upbringing. We see some of his issues with drugs and alcohol. We see his relationships with women, good and bad, and how he a lot of times participates in self-destructive behavior. And all of that is beautifully illustrated and captured really well. Like the tense moments feel tense. The sad moments feel desperate. Like it's crazy how much you can convey with a pencil and some colors. Like it, and man, Dave Chisholm does a masterful job. And it's funny because a lot of times when we're talking about graphic novels, this is an original graphic novel, by the way. It did not come out in single issues or anything before that. But when we're talking about graphic novels or comics, the medium, a lot of times it's like, oh, the story was cool, the art was great, or the art was okay, but the story was really good. This is one of those instances where the story and art work together so well that I can't really comment on one without the other. And man, this book was just a treat. Now, the cover price on this book is $39.99. It's a standard sized hardcover, but there are oversized deluxe options out there available from Z2 Comics as well. And I absolutely recommend you checking them out. Now, again, if you're a music fan, I highly recommend this book. As a music nerd myself, I was familiar with Miles Davis. I even own a few 12 inches of some of his earlier work. I've got Kind of Blue. I've got Bitches Brew. I've got, a few seminal Miles Davis albums, but I didn't realize how prolific his career was and just how many phases his music went through in pursuit of this sound. And that is, chronicled masterfully in this work. So if you're a fan of Miles Davis, it's a must-have. If you're a fan of jazz and just that time period in music, this book is a must-have. Or if you're just someone who likes musicians and hearing their stories, one thing that stood out to me was just how many people were involved in Miles Davis's career, and just sort of the nature of musicians in that they just they do what comes to them naturally, and they'll get together and they'll team up and all this stuff. And it was almost like you got like a jazz Avengers at certain points. Really, really cool stuff. But again, I didn't realize Miles Davis' discography was as deep as it is. I didn't realize he was as prolific as he was. And I didn't know some of the behind the scenes turmoil that he went through. And all of that is captured really well in this graphic novel. I can't recommend it enough. And it's only fitting that this is the first book that we review in the 25 days of comics. So go ahead, use the link in the description down below to order a copy of this. I got the standard size hardcover. I kind of want to go back and get the deluxe. I can't even lie. This art deserves to be seen in an oversized format, but no matter which format you go with, you really can't go wrong. So again, a huge thanks to Dave for sending this review copy over to me. You need to pick it up. Pick it up for the music fan in your life. Absolutely. I'll see you guys in another review real soon. Now, this was the first in the 25 days of comics. So I got to give a huge shout out to our channel members for making this possible, as well as the good folks over at Organic Price Books. If you are looking for comic book collected editions to buy for yourself or to gift to a friend during this holiday season, look no further than Organic Price Books. And if you use my discount code at checkout, it's just BJ Kicks, my name, then you'll save $2 on every single order. Now, if you're ordering 4 books or more, you can use the code BJ Kicks, ship it together. You'll get 5% on that big order, and it'll all be shipped together in one nice, convenient package. So huge thanks to OPB for sponsoring the 25 days of comics, and I will see you guys in another video real soon. Peace.